Hello, learned scholars. This is Mr. Miller, World History teacher at West Mecklenburg High School, and this is Unit 2, Part 4 of the Unit 2 review. And these are just going to be the essential questions portion of your study guide. It's going to be a much shorter video, but just going over just essential questions that you'll need. For the content, for the bulk of the content, make sure you look back to Part 3, Part 2, and Part 1 of the Unit 2 review video series. All right, let's go on. Now, the first thing you might need to know is just what was life like after the fall of Rome. So remember that Rome was a super large empire, and eventually you start seeing like what was life happening, what was life like after the fall of Rome, and you can probably kind of get an idea. All right, and this is going to be in Western Europe. Remember that the West was a hot mess, and that the beast is going to be the East. That's the Byzantine Empire. All right, so this is a description of the Western side. So you see here, it says the barbarians have broken through the defensive walls. All right, the Moors' invasions have spread in successive waves over the south. The Hungarian swarms over the eastern provinces. So this is one of the things that you're going to notice is that this document has some words that you might not be familiar with. However, what you need to be focusing on is just what's happening, right? Like the fact that these people are breaking through the walls, the fact that there's invasions that are spreading, the fact that you have swarms of people coming into provinces and they sacked towns and villages and laid waste the fields. By sacked, you mean like kind of like if you're sacking a quarterback, you're putting them down. So they're putting down these towns and villages. They burned down the churches and then departed with the crowd of captives. They had captives. They take burning down churches. There is no longer any trade, only unceasing terror. So if you were to look here, you talk about what this one sentence, the peasants have abandoned his ravaged fields, right, to avoid the violence of anarchy, and people have gone to cower, which means to crouch down in fear. So there's fear, there's terror, there's people, there's churches burning down, right? So overall, what was life like, right? Think about what was life like in the Roman Empire. It didn't seem too hot, right? It was like a hot mess. So make sure this is the thing that sets up feudalism, right? This happened before. This is the reason why people went to feudalism and went to this political system where I'm just exchanging land for labor, right? Because it's much smaller, it's much safer because of all this chaos that came about because of the fall of the Roman Empire. So remember that the fall of the Roman Empire helped cause feudalism. It helped cause all this chaos. And what happened was people kind of band together and have more feudalism. Okay. Now, one of the other major events we talked about was Crusades, right? So the Crusades, remember, Crusades is just the goal was to try to regain the Holy Land, right? So one of the things you might need to know is like what were the causes and the effects of the Crusades. So first of all, causes, Muslims took control over the Holy Land. All right, Muslims are trying to take control of the Holy Land, which was Jerusalem or Israel. Remember, that's where you have Islam and Judaism and Christianity finding their homes, right? So this is why it's called the Holy Land. Muslims eventually began to kind of, threaten Constantinople. Now, Constantinople is the capital of the Byzantine Empire, all right? Constantinople is the capital of the Byzantine Empire, and we know that the Byzantine Empire was very, very Christian, all right? It actually helped preserve Christianity, and we knew this from part 2 of the previous videos in Unit 2 review. All right, so the Byzantine emperor, not Justinian, but another emperor, asks the Catholic Pope in Rome for help. So the Catholic Pope says, hey, we got to help these Christians. We want to help save these Christians in the Byzantine Empire. Okay, so they have their crusades. We all know from the Crusades close reads, there are like 9 crusades, and they all fail to retake the Holy Land. However, good things happen, right? So for instance, one good thing was trade between Europe and Asia began to increase. Okay, so we have medicine, knowledge, thoughts, spices, silk start to trade between Europe and Asia. So trade internationally became to increase. Okay, now one thing also starts to happen is that kings become more powerful because lots of the nobility, lots of knights died in the Crusades, and lots of lords actually died in Crusades. So feudalism feudalism is actually weakened as a result of these knights dying. All right, and ultimately you start to see less of a decentralized system that came from feudalism, with decentralized meaning that you have just kind of everybody doing their own thing, to where centralized authority starts to become more powerful. The kings become more powerful as a result of the Crusades. And overall, some negative things: Christians and Jews and Muslims start to have some tension. By tension, it means that they start to kind of argue a little bit more as a result of the Crusades. All right, some things you might have read in a close reads was talking about how Christians would go into Jewish villages and start killing Jews in the name of Jesus, and Christians would go in and kill Muslims in the name of Jesus. So generally the tensions between these three groups, the Christians, the Jews, and the Muslims, start to grow more and more bad and negative. All right, and we see this kind of, as ironic, because they all worship the same God, but because of the Crusades, they start having a little bit more disputes, a little bit more strife between them. So we see the effects of the Crusades being increased trade between Europe and Asia. You have kings becoming more powerful. All right, kings are starting to have more control, and feudalism, that political structure that was all throughout the Middle Ages, that was all about land in exchange for labor, feudalism starts to weaken because of the Crusades. And then you also have tensions between these three religious groups. All right, so and the last thing we're going to talk about is just the Tangan Song in Greece. Now, Tangan Song in Greece, one of the things is going to mention in your test Tangan Song. And I know we did not directly cover Tangan Song in class. All right, if we did, then this is going to make the question a little bit easier. But ultimately, it's asking you about golden ages, folks. Golden ages. So what is a golden age, right? How do we create a golden age? So the golden age is, remember, an age of achievements. We just go back to, I'm going to go quickly back to the golden age term, right? This is how much we've actually reviewed, so good job for y'all. All right, golden age is a time of intellectual prosperity, and that's kind of one of the big takeaways you need to understand about this unit, is that we've gone through dark ages, we've gone through ages of faith, we have tons of religion, we have gone through ages of feudalism and medieval Europe and the West. That's a hot mess, but ultimately the big focus is going to be on these golden ages, right? This idea of intellectual and economic prosperity, all right? And that's kind of one of the big takeaways you should take from Unit 2, is the fact that you have these golden ages happening throughout this entire vast world, and that is kind of the legacy that they leave behind can still be felt with all of their achievements, from medicine, from astronomy, from literature, even math. All comes kind of rooted within this golden age that was brought about these civilizations that all had some type of centralized religion and all had some type of government to kind of tell them what to do and what direction they were going to go put into. All right, so that is the last part of Unit 4. Of Unit 2, Part 4, and you see here all the things that we've covered within the units. If you want to use these videos for review, I would suggest highly that you use these videos, especially before the test, night before the test, and also maybe the morning of the test. And good luck with finishing your study guide. Hopefully these helped, and make sure that you study hard. All right, have a good one.